Sorry, I have to really get close to this camera with the microphone built in and shout in order for anyone to hear me, unfortunately. But anyway, am I the only one who thought Darth Maul's character design was completely stupid looking and unintimidating? You know, in that way that you're embarrassed to call yourself a Star Wars fan because suddenly Star Wars has become this? Beyond the whole Jar Jar business, of course, as well as the far advanced technology in the past that they seem to have regressed away from in the future, that always bugged the shit out of me. They should have at least kept some sort of thematic, technological theme to it. Plus, the whole space-time breaking plot hole of Vader building 3PO, yet never even showing a hint of recognition in the new movie, in the original movies. He is strong in the Force and built the damn robot. He's familiar with every core, wire, and circuit board, being a supposed mechanical genius. There's no way he could not recognize 3PO, even with the new gold plating on top of some retooling by the Lars family, which is the excuse that apologists use most. Darth Maul is just completely out of place, and he wasn't even that important of a character who barely spoke a word and died in the first movie, after having only a scant few scenes while being built up as being the main bad guy in all of the advertising. Sure, he killed Qui-Gon Jinn, but Qui-Gon was also pointless, and I hated him too, and he was annoying as fuck. He didn't need to even be there. It's supposed to be Obi-Wan who discovers Jake Lloyd. That kid is not Darth Vader, neither is Hayden Christensen while we're on the subject. Obi-Wan makes no mention of Jinn to Luke, and instead credits Yoda for training him. Considering the influence Qui-Gon had, as well as doing the majority of the training of Obi-Wan, you'd think Obi-Wan would have made a mention of him, right? After talking about Anakin and Darth Vader, especially since he was killed right in front of him. If Alec Obi-Wan Guinness, Alec Wan Kenobi, had mentioned Qui-Gon Jinn to Luke in A New Hope while reminiscing about Anakin and the Clone Wars and that area of his life, or in Empire Strikes Back when or Jedi, when he becomes a ghostly figure and convinces Luke to go to Yoda. I might not be so hostile toward this character who introduced us to midichlorians. You all know how much I love science, but this just doesn't fit in the universe of Star Wars. The Force should not be dependent on whether you have a certain blood count. It's diminished. Some stories do need magic and mysticism in order to work. Otherwise, they just come off as trying too hard. But then again, I just hate Liam Neeson's face and demeanor for no apparent reason. He just bothers me, and I always just want to slap his absolutely featureless face with a hatchet. He could have been a good Odo from Deep Space Nine. But really, who else was actually enthralled when they first saw Darth Maul, instead of shuddering in disgust at the obvious money-making devil character that was made specifically to sell toys? I mean, if you're older than 12 at least at the time. And Darth Vader, he obviously is way more intimidating. He has presence. He has intelligence. He has, well, not the Jake Lloyd or Hayden Christensen type ones. Those characters are definitely not connected to the new Vader. But yeah, if you look at it too, his costume is kind of ridiculous, but it's still way more intimidating and somehow more subtle than Darth Maul. I mean, those little spikies on the top of his head, they made me want to laugh. I didn't think he was intimidating at all. I was like, oh, that's our new Sith Lord? It was just disappointing. And again, Darth Vader, he has presence. He's got that skull mask with the samurai helmet on, but he actually did something in the movies. I understand Darth Maul had to die for Darth Vader to take his place. There can only be two Sith at any time, apparently, according to the core canon at least. But really, he should have at least stayed until Attack of the Clones. If he was supposed to be such a big badass enemy, why was he so worthless? Did anybody at all like Darth Maul? Again, if you're above the age of 12 when it was released.